Good morning. Myself, Dr. B. Sadasivaya, Assistant Professor of Botany, Dr. BRR Government College, Jadcherla. Today, we are going to learn about the family Poaceae, which is very important to the humankind and also animal kind, especially herbivores. So, without these family members, no herbivores and no carnivores will be conserved. So that much importance is there for this family. Now, it is also known as green gold of the earth. Now you can see how much green they are in the earth. So, and one more thing, the grasses are nothing but the center of civilization, which is commonly known as grass family. This is the fourth largest family of angiosperms in terms of number of species. So far, 11,000 species were recognized or identified under 900 genera, and all these 11,000 species were cosmopolitan distribution. These are stable food for human beings. For example, all the cereals and millets are the products of Poaceae family. Pova is the type genus for this family and also largest genus of the family with 500 species. There is a conserved name for this family, that is Graminae. Now coming to the habitat of the family, all the three types of habitats are there. Majorly they are mesophytes, few of them are hydrophytes, and another few of them are xerophytes. For hydrophytes, Hygrorhiza, Oryza officinalis are the best examples, and Sama is the example for xerophytic grasses. Some of the species like Spinifex litorius, which are only grows in sinkos. Here, in the case of Spinifex litorius, it is the dioecious plants. Both male and female plants are separate. And in some species of the genus Pova, for example, Pova annua, is growing only in high altitude areas like mountains or in sholas. Coming to the habit, mainly they are herbs, very few are shrubs, and very few are arborate in nature. They looks like a trees, but not, they are not trees. So there are so many annual grasses, for example, Avena sativa, Oryza sativa, etc. And perennial also there, for example, Saccharum spontaneum, Phragmites carca, etc. There is a genus called as Arundinaria. Some of the species of Arundinaria are shrubs. There is one species, that is Melochis compactiflorus, is a climbing shrub. And other bamboos are tree-like structures, but they are not true trees. Coming to the vegetative characters of the family, the root system is adventitious, but in some genera, for example, Zea, Sorghum, Radboilia, and other pennisetum species. They have stilt roots for the support of the plants. The stem may be underground or may be aerial. The underground stems are in the form of rhizomes or stolon. The aerial stems are erect and prostrate or decumbent. Most of them are herbaceous in nature. Some of the species of bamboos they are woody in nature. The stems are solid in most of the species, for example, saccharum. In some of the species like bamboo and oryza, they are hollow. Here, the hollow stems, they have swollen nodes. That means the members of the Poaceae has clear-cut nodes and internodes, and the nodes are swollen. So such type of stems are called as combs. All these combs, they are tufted in nature, but the internode of the stem or the culm covered by a leaf sheath. This stem may be cylindrical in almost all the species. In some species of Eleusine, for example genus Eleusine, the stem is compressed, laterally compressed like this. So due to the presence of intercalary meristem, the intercalary growth is very common in these family members. Now, these are the adventitious root systems, again decumbent nature, and these are the stolons that are present in the sorghum. And then this is the tufted nature of the curves, prostrate and decumbent nature. Coming to the phyllotaxy, the leaves are arranged on the stem in alternate manner, but they looks like opposite. They are called as distichous. So the leaf, both radical and colony leaves are present. Scaly leaves are present on the rhizome as a below the ground, and all the leaves are simple and exstipulate. The base of the leaf modified into sheath, and which is known as leaf sheath. This may be glabrous or pubescent, and all the leaves are maybe with the petiole or they are sessile. There is a small membranous structure or hairy-like structure which is present at the point where the sheath come into the leaf-like structure. There is a small membranous organ called as ligule. If the ligule is present, then the leaves are called as ligulate. In some genus, for example, Echinoclova, the ligule is absent. But in other some of the species of Echinoclova, ligule also present. And then the leaf blades are linear or lanceolate, entire or cerulate or ciliate. Mostly the tip of the apex of the leaf are acute. The surface or the texture of the leaf may be glabrous or pubescent. The venation pattern is parallel. In the epidermis of the leaves, a special cell that are present in the epidermis of the leaf of the grass plants or Poaceae members, they are called as motor cells. Due to the presence of these motor cells, the leaves folded whenever water level is low, which is very commonly visible in Sama and Geomys, sorghum, etc. Now we are seeing this is the leaf sheath, the hairy nature, here the leaf sheath with the glabrous. This part, this small part is known as ligule. Now we are going to see very clear cut pictures of the ligule and other nodes. And these are the swollen node. Again, this is the swollen node with hairy nature. Again, swollen node here, and the swollen node, then leaf sheath with the bulbous based hairs. Now, this is the ligule part. This part is ligule. This is known as ligule. This ligule may be as a membranous structure or maybe hairy structure. It is differ from the species to species or the genus to genus. Again, here we can observe the fringes of the ligule is present. Here the hairy structure of ligule is present. Now this is the leaf blade lanceolate in shape. This is a cordate shape of the leaf base. Then coming to the reproductive characters of the family. The inflorescence. The inflorescence may be from axillary or terminal. The various types of inflorescence are present in this family. Mostly they are panicle and then spike and racemes. These racemes may be in digitate manner or scattered on the inflorescence axis or peduncle. Now we can see the various types of panicles present in the Poaceae family. Again, spikes, digitate spikes, then capitate spikes, and then racemes. They are digitate racemes. Let us come to the important floral character or floral part of the family Poaceae is a spikelet. This spikelet is nothing but it is a basic unit of inflorescence of the family Poaceae. These spikelets they are arranged on the rachis, or this rachis is also known as peduncle. Again, this peduncle or these rachis have small branches called rachilla. On this rachilla, there are two glumes are present. Always the number of glumes are two only, but they are vary in size, shape, texture in terms of the texture of the glume, but they are sterile. Just above the glumes, again, there is another structure called lemma. The number of lemma varies from genus to genus or species to species. The number may be 1 or 2 or up to 70. So again, the shape of the lemma or the size of the lemma and the texture of the lemma are varies from species to species. But this lemma is fertile. So this lemma, the tip may be armed, and this lemma is almost equal to the bracts of our other flowers. Just opposite to the lemma, there is a small hyaline structure called palea. This lemma and palea togetherly known as a floret. Now, the reproductive parts that are present in between the lemma and then palea. Always lemma fully or partially cover the palea. This palea, in some species it is hyaline and in some species it is rigid, and it have two nerves and the keels and the two keels. It is partly or fully enclosed by the lemma. This palea is equals to bracteole of the flower. And once again repeating, if you take the structure of spikelet, that is a basic unit of inflorescence of Poaceae. This spikelet is present on the rachilla, which is having two glumes at the lower part. The size and shape of the and texture of the glumes may be vary from species to species. And just above the glumes, there is a special structure called a lemma. The number may be 1 to 70. Again, the size, shape and texture is vary from species to species. The tip of the lemma may be earned in some species. This lemma is equals to bract of a flower. Just opposite to the lemma, there is a small hyaline structure known as palea, just present opposite to the lemma. This palea partly or fully enclosed by the lemma, which is a hyaline structure, which is have two nerves on the two keels, and it is equals to bracteole of a flower. For each lemma, there will be each palea, one palea. This structure, one lemma and one palea, togetherly known as a floret. In some genera like Paspalidium, this palea is absent. Then the lemma is sterile. That lemma is also known as epalliate. Why? Because palea is absent. Now we can clearly observe here, this entire part is a spikelet and this is a rachilla. Now again we are expanding here. You can see here the glumes, two glumes. This is lower glume and this is upper glume. Lemma 1, lemma 2, lemma 3, lemma 4 and lemma 5, so on. Now I already told that the tip of this lemma in some species, they may be armed like this, like mustache. And if you expand this spikelet, if you take one floret, that is one lemma and then one palea. Now we are coming to this. This is lemma and this is palea. This part is palea. In between the palea and the lemma, there are reproductive organs. This part togetherly known as floret. Now again we are expanding this spikelet, lower glume, upper glume, lemma and one palea and the reproductive parts. Now again we are expanding this one. You can see this is peduncle, that means rachis, and this is rachilla. Lower glume and then upper glume. Lemma 1, palea 1 and reproductive parts. Lemma 2, palea 2 and reproductive parts, like this. Now you can see very clearly this part is lemma. This part is lemma and this small part covered by the lemma is palea. In case of Oryza, the palea also rigid, it looks like a lemma. Now coming to the each and every part of the spikelet, glumes. Glumes always the number is 2 only, that is lower glume and then upper glume. The vary size in size, shape and texture of the species from species to species, and they may be with nerves or nerveless. The number of the nerves that are present on the back of the or the ventral portion of the glumes is very important in terms of identification of species. In some species, the glumes may be membranous. In some species, they may be chartaceous. And these are sterile only. Now, you can see the ornamentations that are present in the glumes of Glypoclova forficulata. These are the various shapes and sizes of the lower glume of the Poaceae members. Again, the nature, membranous to chartaceous nature. And then upper glumes. Let us come to the point, lemma. The number of lemmas from 1 to 70, again they are vary in size, shape and texture, but it is fertile. I already told the tip may be on, it is also equals to bract of a flower. For each lemma, there will be a one palea. Now, these are the size and shapes of the palea. Lemma, sorry. Now coming to the palea, it is always present just opposite to the lemma, fully or partly enclosed by the lemma. It is hyaline, which is having two keels. In the two keels, there are two nerves are present. It is equals to bracteal of a flower. For each lemma, there will be one palea. In some genera called, for example, Poaceae, palea is absent, then the lemma is sterile. These are the different shapes of paleas and ladicules. The ladicules are nothing but the tepals of a flower. One lemma and one palea is togetherly known as floret. In a spikelet, the number of, for example, in a spikelet, the number of lemmas may be one or maybe two, and maybe many flowers. If the spikelet which is having two lemmas, that is known as two flowered spikelets. Then the lower lemma, that means the lower floret, is always male or neuter. Then the upper lemma or the upper floret always bisexual. But the genus Isacne, the both lower and upper florets are bisexual. In some genera like sorghum, there are two types of spikelets are present. Number one is sessile spikelets and then pedicel spikelets. Sessile spikelets are always bisexual and the pedicel spikelets always male or neuter. Now we can see very clearly this spikelet is sessile and this spikelet is pedicel. Now we are going to see another single floret flower which is having lower glume, upper glume, lemma and palea and reproductive parts like this. Two flowered one, the number of glooms are the same only, lower glume and upper glume, lemma 1, palea 1, lemma 2, palea 2. I already told, if the spikelet with the two flower, the lower floret always male or neuter. The upper floret bisexual. You can see here only stamens are present. Here both ovary, style and stigma and also stamens are present. This is bisexual floret. This is unisexual, that is male floret. Then now we are going to see this particular spikelet is a sessile spikelet. This is a pedicel spikelet. At this time, this juncture, you can see here clearly, it is bisexual. Stigmas and then stamens. This pedicel spikelet only male or neuter. Again, many flowered spikelets, but the number of glooms are same, only two. Lower glume, upper glume, lemma 1, palea 1, lemma 2, palea 2, lemma 3, palea 3, like that. If the number of paleas and lemmas are more than 2, then all the florets are bisexual only. All the florets are bisexual only. Now you can see here, this is glume. Another glume was shaded already, and these are the lemmas. Now coming to the flower characters or floret characters. They are very small, you cannot see with the naked eyes, inconspicuous, bracteate and bracteolate, complete or incomplete, bisexual or unisexual, monoecious in zeamice, dioecious in spinifex, homoclamidious, arranged the floral parts are arranged in a cyclic manner, and they are trimerous in Bambusa. In other species, only two ladicules are present. That is dimerous. Hypogynous and zygomorphic florets. Now you can see the flower. The perianth. In the Poaceae members, the perianth are reduced like a small structures known as lodicules. They are hyaline structures. Generally, the number of lodicules are 2, whereas in Bambusa there are 3. In some species, some genera like Dendrocalamus, the lodicules are absent. All these lodicules, the two lodicules are present just below the reproductive parts. At the time of maturity of the reproductive parts, these lodicules absorb the water and it's swallowed. Then there is no space in the spikelet, then the reproductive parts comes out from the lemma and pelia. Now you can see the structure of lodicules. These white structures are lodicules, 2 lodicules here. Then androecium. In generally, the number of stamens are 3, but in tribe Bambusae, the number of stamens are 6. In Uniola, only 1 stamen. In Sporobolus diander, 2 stamens. In the genus Ochlandra, the many stamens are present. The filaments are very slender and long. The anthers are basifixed or versatile in fixation. Anthers dithecous, they are intrors and longitudinally dehiscent at the time of maturity. At the time of maturity, they comes out from the floret, and you can see now we are seeing 1, 2, 3 stamens. The gynoecium. Here the ovary is superior, tricarpellary syncarpus, but unilocular. Out of these 3 carpels, 2 are degenerated and only 1 is matured. At the time of fruit, you can find only 1 ovule in one locule. The other 2 are degenerated. The placentation is a basal placentation. The style is a terminal, and usually 2 styles are present. In Bambusa, 3 styles are present. In Nardus, only 1 style is present. In Ziamais, these 2 styles were fused. The stigma is a plumose or feathery nature in general, but in Mollinia it is very normal. Capitate stigma. Again, the stigma also, the style and stigma also comes out from the floret at the time of maturity. Now you can see here 1, 2 and 3 styles and 3 stigmas, feathery stigmas. Now we can observe here some of the pollen grains are present. Pollination. Pollination by anemophily, that means air pollinated plants. Due to the presence of protandry, the cross pollination is occurred. In some genera like Oryza and Triticum, self-pollination is common phenomenon. There is a great pollen loss in these family members. Hence, they produce more number of pollen grains. If you take one example, the one stamen or one anther of the Ziamais, which produce around 1.85 crore pollen grains. Now we can imagine how much pollen loss is occurring in this family. Now coming to fruit and seed. Fruit is generally known as caryopsis. In Spinifex it is aggregate fruit. In Dendrocalamus drupe. In Dinoclova berry. In Coix Dendrocalamus and Zizania it is nut-like structure, and in Dactyloctinium it is achene. In Sporobolus, it is article, but the number of seeds is only one. It may be endospermic or non-endospermic. And these are the different seeds of the Poaceae members. You can see this is one important plant, Habardia heptanuran, which was recognized by sea bird around 180 years back and named by Bode, which is a strict endemic grass to the jog ponds of Karnataka. Now you can see the different structures of different shape and sizes of seeds of Poaceae members. Now this is floral formula and floral diagram in general. Economic importance. The major food grains like cereals and millets are coming from this family only. The major cereals, Triticum, Eastivum, Oryza sativa, Avena sativa, Zeamais, Ardium vulgare, and Sickle cereal are the product of Poaceae only. The millets, Sorghum bicolor, Penicitum americanum, Soteria italica, that is foxtail millet, Elysium coracana, and then Panicum miliaceum, and the Paspalum scrobiculatum. They are also product of Poaceae only. We are obtaining sugars from Saccharum officinarum. As a byproduct, through the molasses, we are getting alcohol from the sugar. That means Saccharum officinarum. The waste product of the Saccharum officinarum, which is used in preparation of boats. And some of the species of Saccharum, for example, Saccharum munja and Saccharum spontaneum, they gives fibers. And the paper, the bambusa species, which are extensively used in preparation of paper. And very few medicinal plants are there in this family Poaceae, Phragmites curca, and then Cynodon dactyla. Some of the oils are extracting from Cimbopogon citratus, which is known as lemongrass oil, citronella oil from Cimbopogon nardus and Cimbopogon winterianus, and palm rose oil from Cimbopogon martini, and Vetiveria giginoides, which gives cuss oil. Here in the case of Poaceae members, the economic importance from bamboos. Most of the bamboos genera, Arundinaria, Bambusa, Dendrocalamus, and Melocalamus, which gives bamboos. They are used in constructions and preparation of musical instruments, baskets, and toys. And also, some of the species of genera, Cynodon, Pova, Festiga, Agrostis, are using in the lawn preparation. And some other ornamental plants from this family, Penicitum pedicillatum, Rincilitrium repens, and Joycia matrella. Now we can see, and this is the beauty of grasses used in lawn. The other uses. The Spinifex litorius is a wonderful soil binder, and with the roots of Vetiveria, we are preparing mats. And arak is prepared from the Oryza sativa, and whiskey is prepared from rye and barley. There is a costly brooms, long brooms are preparing with the Thyssanolina maxima, which is very common in Visakhapatnam areas of Andhra Pradesh. The Aristides cetacea and the Cimbopogon species and Heteropogon species, the cheap brooms were prepared. There are two species. One is Cynodon dactylan and another one is Desmostachia bipinnata. They have spiritual and religious values. Some of the species like Cimbopogon flexuosa, Cimbopogon coloratus, and Saccharum spontaneum were used as thatching material. Coming to the phylogeny of the family, Bentham and Hooker kept this family at the end of the monocots. They felt that it is very advanced. But in Engler and Prantl classification, which is present in the family present in Glumiflorae order, the fourth order of the monocots. Hutchinson kept this family in gramineals, a separate order. Cronquist mixed this family with Cyperaceae and kept in Cyperales order. Based on the number of florets, the family has two subfamilies. One is Panicaidea, the other one is Poaceae. The Panicaidea is the spikelets with two flowers. The Poaceae is spikelets with one flower or more than two flowers. Bentham and Hooker's and important characters. The major important character to identify the grasses. The one important, the plants with the jointed stems, hollow or cylindrical stems, and then inflorescence may be one to many flowered, zygomorphic floret, and the stamens are three. Now this is also one of the beauty of the Poaceae member, Lopholephis ornithocephala. Here the spikelet looks like a bird,